What's up, everyone? In this video, we're going to talk about my experience with Yohimbe and the benefits of Yohimbe. Yohimbe benefits. Yohimbe benefits, Yohimbe benefits, Yohimbe benefits. Just gotta stick those keywords in there so the transcript of YouTube sees my keyword saturation is high enough. Anyway, the benefits of Yohimbe. We're gonna talk about those right now. So should I talk about the science also in this video? Why not? I was just going to talk about my experience with Yohimbe, or yohimbine as they call it, but I might as well talk a little bit about the science as well. So Yohimbe does two awesome things and some not so awesome things. So the two awesome things that it does is that it actually burns fat. Yes, it is a fat burner, which sounds good, but don't rush out and buy it right now. Sounds like a clickbait BuzzFeed title, but don't buy it yet. But it does burn fat. Okay, it burns actually stubborn fat, like belly fat, chest fat. Like, it'll make you leaner. It will. And the second cool thing that it does is that it's a good like boner pill. Like it'll get you going. Well, okay, let me read the science stuff. Yohimbine, which is the I guess extract of Yohimbe. Yohimbe is I want to say it comes from the bark of a tree in Africa, I want to say. Yohimbine works by increasing adrenaline levels in the body as well as inhibiting a regulatory process in fat cells which normally suppresses fat burning. Interesting. The effects of Yohimbe are partially negated by food intake, which is why it is often taken in a fasted state. So if you are going to take Yohimbe, do not take it with food because you will not burn as much fat, I guess. And also, it'll give you a freaking stomach ache if you have anything in your stomach. You get this like locked up feeling in your stomach. It is not pleasant. My experience. Now, why do I say that you should be very careful with this? Because most Yohimbe supplements are overdosed like a mofo. Like, you'll find a lot of Yohimbe supplements that you can buy for like $4 for a giant jar, and there's 500 milligrams per capsule in the jar, or like per capsule. And if you take one full capsule, you will be lit up like a Christmas tree, and not, it's not pleasant, right? It's like it's too much. You're too stimulated, right? It's not a pleasant experience, right? Like, for those of you who have taken ADD medication, you take Ritalin or like an Dexedrine or Adderall, right? These are amphetamines. These overall will kind of have a positive effect on your mood. Yohimbe is like, it's like somebody put like nitro fuel in a car, but the car is not equipped for the nitro fuel. So stuff just like speeds up until it goes fucking off the rails. That is my general experience with taking Yohimbe. Back in the day when I used to take it, I didn't know any better. I just buy the pills and I pop one, and I would be like amped through the roof for 4 hours, heart beating super fast, very uncomfortable. But I would drop fat, like a lot of fat. Like, you lose a lot of weight from that. Is it water weight? Is it actually fat? I'm not really sure. It does seem to have like a mild diuretic effect as well. So you do pee a lot, or you pee more, but you just feel like such absolute garbage if you take too much. I'll tell you my preferred way of taking it. Okay. So it says right here, dosages of 0.2 milligrams per kilogram of body weight have been successfully used to increase fat burning without significant implications on cardiovascular parameters like heart rate and blood pressure. Now, this is Yohimbine, not Yohimbe. I'm not sure what the I'm not sure if they actually just don't know the difference or what the conversion is. Let me actually look that up really quick. How much Yohimbine to Yohimbe? No standard guidelines. So it doesn't actually say. I think that they're used interchangeably, unfortunately. But that doesn't make sense. Yeah, the active ingredient from the bark of Yohimbe, yohimbine. So I don't actually, oh, here we go. Pure standardized yohimbine bark. I don't really know. Maybe I'll look at this supplement on GNC really quick. Bear with me, everyone. Should have done this before. I know. Okay, so each capsule, this is from GNC. Each capsule packs 451 milligrams of pure standardized yohimbe bark. 2% yohimbine alkaloid equals 9 milligrams. So I guess that means it's 9 milligrams of yohimbine standardized at 2%. So I guess it varies is the point. You have to check the label to see how much it is specifically. Now, these numbers are about dosages of yohimbine. And that was 9 milligrams of yohimbine. Now, I can tell you I have taken 500 milligrams of pure yohimbe, not standardized for shit, and I was not feeling very good at all. So I wonder, did they make this weaker? Somehow I doubt it, but like you feel like absolute garbage. So, you know, I wouldn't actually like do it. Caution should also be exercised since many supplements containing yohimbine either do not list how much yohimbine is included, or if they do, the actual dosages range from 25 to 150% of the dose listed. So that's very important to note. Well, what was it say? When pairing yohimbine with other stimulatory agents, don't do it. Half dose both supplements and work up to the recommended dose cautiously, as two supplements can interact negatively. I think this is actually very good advice. I think information like this is generally like, they treat the average person as like a little snowflake who like, exercise for 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week. That's enough to like be in shape, that kind of thing. But in this case, I think that is very good information because this shit is no joke, actually no joke. So be very careful with it and don't take too much. Another interesting thing here is that a lot of supplements that are marketed as fat burning supplements will include yohimbine in it because you feel the effects from it, right? You actually, like, you take it and you feel it. You know you took something. Whereas other fat burning supplements, maybe they just put a little caffeine and like some vitamins and some black pepper extract. You don't really feel anything from those. But you put a little bit of yohimbe, even honestly as much as like 20 milligrams of the actual bark itself, the powdered bark, like you break open a capsule, you're going to know you took something. So just be very careful with that. Let's look at all right, so the level of evidence, and this is according to scientific studies, a minor increase in erections. So it says here, erections are increased following yohimbine ingestion, which is thought to be a combination of alpha-2 adrenergic antagonism, which is enhancing relaxation of the penile tissue, so engorgement of blood can ensure, so it makes your dick bigger, basically, interesting, and increasing blood pressure, which would increase the amount of force in an erection. However, it may not be able to overcome organic erectile dysfunction associated with poor blood flow. Okay, so, whoops. So the thing with like, I don't know, erectile dysfunction is a little bit tricky of a subject. Could be a hormonal issue. Most of the time it is a hormonal issue, I would argue, unless you are not healthy, which then I guess is a hormonal issue anyway. But you can also be healthy and fit and still have an issue with this. Sometimes it's nerves. We're men. It happens. Sometimes, whatever. That's why they call it performance anxiety. You get a little bit anxious. Take it as a compliment, ladies. Unless you're fat, then it's because you're fat. Speaking of fat, in this next study, fat mass noticed a notable reduction. And it says here, fat mass is reduced with yohimbine ingestion and appears to affect both obese and lean individuals. Fun fact, when I was living in the Valley in Northridge before moving to Israel, I became very interested in what's called a transdermal cutting agent. So this is a substance that is applied to the body to spot reduce, right? And I've held my tongue when I hear about spot reducing, and people will say spot reducing isn't possible, you can't do spot reducing. Actually, you can, and the way to do it is by creating a transdermal cutting agent with yohimbe in it. And if I recall correctly, what I did is, and I don't recommend that anybody do this, it's not something anybody should ever do, but what you do is you mix ethanol, I want to say, denatured alcohol I couldn't find denatured alcohol, so I used ethanol. That's probably not healthy at all to do. You mix ethanol with yohimbe bark extract, and what happens is that the ethanol acts as a carrier. And back then there were no derma rollers, or as far as I know, there were no derma rollers. And what they would recommend to do is you should take a washcloth and you should vigorously rub parts of your body that you want to spot reduce on, and you apply the transdermal cutting agent, in this case the ethanol and yohimbe solution. Did it work? Yes, it worked. But if you take it orally, like, okay, I had some fat on my chest, so I would apply it to my chest, right? And it worked, but there is what's called systemic leakage. This has nothing to do really with Yohimbe, I'm just gonna tell you anyway. There's something called systemic leakage where, like, okay, it doesn't just go to that muscle you applied it to, it will affect your entire body. It's called systemic leakage. Like, it's referred to normally when you have like topical creams or solutions or something like that that have some sort of something in it, and it like estrogen cream or something, and like potentially could leak into your body. Anyway, you do feel like you took a little bit, nothing like taking a full 500 milligram pill, but you definitely feel something. So whatever, fun fact. The next one, a minor increase in alcohol dependence. Interesting. Injections of yohimbine have been noted to increase cravings for alcohol, which, although not demonstrated with oral intake, is thought to be related to the reduction in inhibition. I can, that seems like it makes sense. Now, a reduction in inhibition, I'm not sure if they'll go over that being one of the effects here that was studied, but I understand that could be the case. Now, is that directly as a result of it affecting your libido? Is it like because it's an aphrodisiac, in like, you know, in plain language, like when you're horny, you're less inhibited, you're more uninhibited? Or is there something else going on there? Like, it's probably people who are more likely to drink anyway. Like, would it make me want to drink? I fucking never drink. Probably not. So something to keep in mind. A minor increase in anxiety. That is very true, let me tell you. It says here, yohimbe, although unreliable, an increase in anxiety may occur following yohimbine ingestion. I mean, I don't know. Anybody who takes this who does not experience an increase in anxiety, I don't know, you're a better man than me for sure. An increase in blood pressure appears to increase blood pressure, which may aid the pro-erectile effects, as it is an acute increase, but is a cardiovascular risk factor. Yeah, I would not take this if you have like a bad heart, or if your heart is already like in trouble, because your heart will beat faster and you will be anxious and you will be like, I'm not gonna say you'll be scared, but like it's not a pleasant feeling. Minor increase in cortisol appears to increase cortisol following ingestion. I could see how that would be the case. Don't think that this minor increase in cortisol will somehow affect the fat burning potential of yohimbe, because the fat burning potential is much stronger than any minor increase in cortisol. It also says there's a minor increase in diuresis, which is that basically has a diuretic effect, meaning you pee more. There appears to be an increased urge to urinate following yohimbine supplementation of yohimbine. That matches up with my experience as well. You don't even really have to pee that much. You just pee. You feel like you have to pee more, and you go pee more, I guess is the best way to put it. And that could also have an effect on leaning you out, right? They say that you're like fat, there's water stored in fat. So, you know, is it a diuretic effect that is just making it seem like you're losing fat? Or is it that you're actually burning fat and the water that was stored in the fat is coming out? I would say it's probably the second one, because of what they said earlier of it like stopping the inhibition of storing fat, or stopping the inhibition, your body's inhibition to stop burning fat, I guess is a better way to put it. Minor increase in heart rate due to stimulatory effects, blah, 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 of course. Symptoms of phobia. Okay, so a minor decrease in these symptoms of phobia. Thought to decrease symptoms of phobia via noradrenaline release, causing desensitization to the stress response, but studies looking at its efficacy are mixed. So this, let's just theory craft here a little bit. This could be that it lowers inhibition, it increases arousal, sexual arousal, and that reduced inhibition can also like reduce a potential fear response, despite the fact that it increases your anxiety. So like a very poor analogy would be, let's say you take somebody who's like whatever stimulated, right? They're like they've taken a stimulant and they're hopped up on crazy pills, let's just say. They might experience more anxiety, but they also at the same time might have reduced inhibitions. So, and also reduced fear, right? So more likely to act on those inhibitions without necessarily thinking what will happen in the future. Is that connected to the libido? Maybe, I guess you could say that. Is it like a good sexual aid? Yeah, it is. I've noticed that like orgasms are much more intense. Is that because of the blood pressure? I'm not really sure. Or increased blood flow? I really don't know. I haven't like looked into it that much. I'm sure it would work for women as well. I just actually don't know. No effect on lean mass, no effect on plasma melatonin, no effect on power output or rate of gastric emptying. I would argue with that last one. I noticed an increased rate of gastric emptying, which means like pooping, basically. I've noticed that when I take Yohimbe, if I have any food in my stomach, it is like out of there faster than it would be. Not necessarily like diarrhea, but like it's uncomfortable for my body to contain that food at that time. So whatever. Minor reduction in cerebral blood flow. A decrease in cerebral blood flow has been noted to be independent of cognitive impairment. So I don't remember seeing some sort of cognitive impairment, although it could be related to, like, is it actually making you stupider, or is it that you're more anxious and horny, basically, you're not thinking straight, so you're not able to concentrate? Is that possibly the cognitive impairment? Oh, here we have a minor increase in penile girth. An increase in penile girth has been noted similar to L-DOPA. I didn't know that makes your dick bigger, which was not to a large degree, only detectable when dividing the group into responders and non-responders. Interesting. They have like, they measured their dicks like side by side. It's interesting. Symptoms of orthostatic hypotension. I don't know what that is. Oh, orthostatic hypotension, lightheadedness upon rapidly standing up, appears to have reduced symptoms associated with yohimbine usage. So, as far as I understand, that is a result of too much blood in your head, and then when you stand up, the blood drains from it very quickly. I think that's what happens. I have really no idea. I don't know. Like, waiting for you to tell me the answer, like computer webcam. Okay, some notices here. Yohimbine can cause extreme anxiety in individuals predisposed to anxiety, may trigger manic psychosis or suicidal episodes in people with bipolar disorder. So, you know, if you're a little bitch, like, don't take it. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm not a doctor either. Yohimbine can interact with a large amount of neurological medications and should not be used in conjunction with these medications without consultation with a doctor. So I think I read something that said you should not take it if you're taking MAOI inhibitors. I have taken it safely. I don't know if I was taking MAOIs, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to take it with Wellbutrin, which is not an MAOI inhibitor now that I think about it, or Phenibut, which is also not MAOI. Sorry, never mind. It can, yeah, okay. So the actual dose, okay, all right, we said that already. Basically, just be careful with this shit. It is no joke. Treat it with respect. This is one of those substances that you should treat with respect. Like Phenibut, you should treat with respect. Yohimbe, you should treat with respect. Most prescription medications as well. But like, just be very careful when you take this. Like, I'm just picturing in my mind some like fat people taking this, like, oh, Yohimbe, one pill will burn a lot of fat, I'll take 2, and they fucking die the next day because they're stupid. Like, do not. I can only imagine what would happen if I took 2. I think I would actually die. I think I would die if I took 2 of those 500 milligram pills. Honestly, I don't know how that shit is sold. It's like, it's freaky, man. Um, yeah, so it's effective, but be careful with it. It is dangerous if you take too much, and you will feel like shit. So what I would recommend, what I did most recently when I was taking it, is I would buy the capsules, and instead of taking an entire capsule, is I would break open a capsule and pour a tiny little bit of powder, like that much of the bark, in my hand and like lick it off my hand, and that was it. And I would feel like a little bit of a boost, and then a couple hours later do it again, and that's enough. Like, believe me, that is definitely enough. So that is all my information on Yohimbe slash yohimbine. Those are the benefits slash, what's the opposite of benefits? Non-benefits? I don't know. Do you have any questions about Yohimbe? Does that make it seem like a substance you would want to try? Let me know. Do you want me to go over any other substances? If you do, let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.